chance to sit down again with my good friend, Chuck Yates from Coyote Stage Works. And earlier this month, I read that Coyote was shutting their doors after 13, 14 years. And it was a bit of a shock to me. And I wanted to grab a good conversation with my friend Chuck to see how things are going, what went down, and giving him actually some great praise for a wonderful theater company out here in Palm Springs that just really was a benchmark. So sit back, grab something to drink, and let's listen to my friend Chuck and I chew the fat a little bit about theater. Hey, everybody. I am here today, of course, with my good friend, Chuck Yates. Mr. Yates, welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
Well,
How are you?
You are one of my favorite people to talk to. And,
well, thank you. You're one of my favorite people to talk to.
You are so sweet. And, as we are talking, we are coming out of this funk of COVID and people getting out and about and doing things again. And I just wanted to see how you're doing.
Same as everyone. I'm coming out of this lockdown stuff. I am, I've been vaccinated and I am slowly putting my foot back in the pool and kind of doing things here and there.
Yeah.
And it feels a little weird to be doing it, but I think it's part of getting back on track to some sense of normalcy. So let's see
whatever
what happens.
That is, yeah. I mean,
whatever. I've never known what normal was. So
well, I've never been normal, so you know how that goes.
Never.
So well, first of all, cheers to you, my friend. Here you go. I know there you go. It's always good having a beverage with you.
Always.
And so I wanted to talk to you, of course, a few days ago, a week or so ago, I saw an announcement that Coyote Stageworks was going to close its doors. And it hit me like, no, something's not right. And then I thought, well, what? And I thought, oh gosh, the world, right? I mean, but I wanted to first of all, let you know that it saddens me very much for the loss. I'm sure, you feel that too, but it's a huge loss, I think, to the community, let alone personally, because it really is one of my favorite things. But what's going on? What happened?
Well, the same thing happened to everybody. I mean, we went, we closed a show the day before it opened due to the pandemic. And I spent a lot of time early in the pandemic, keeping the wheels running, because I thought at any moment we would be able to come back to what we do and what we love doing. That, stretched into 15 months of insecurity, and insecurity meaning trying to plan for the future and not knowing what the future looked like.
Right.
And excuse me. So we, the longer it went on, the more time I had to self-reflect and think about myself and sort of what my needs were going to be. And as you know, in the past 13 years, for me, it's pretty much been Coyote Stage Works 365 days a year, 24 hours a day. So the longer this went on, the more I started thinking about myself and what my future looks like. And, to be honest with you, 13 years of Coyote Stage Works went by like that. And that does not mean it was all, sunshine and roses. There was a lot of hard work and everything that went into that, but it went by like that. I am going to be 57 in August, which is not old. I don't think about, I don't care, but I thought 13 years from now, I'm going to be 70. And I still don't think 70's old, but there are things that that I want to branch out and do and focus on. And it's a little hard for me with Coyote Stageworks. And in looking back over our history, I am so proud of what we did and what we accomplished and the effects that we had on the community here. And it has been one of the richest periods of my life in terms of all of what I just said and the people that I've met and befriended in this community here, and how wonderful it's been. And in December we were awarded Theater Company of the Decade by Broadway World, and I was awarded Performer of the Decade for playing Truman Capote in 2013. And so it's like, I said, how much more do I need? With all of the other awards and all of the wonderful things we've been able to do, there are other roads that I want to explore. Let's put it that way. And, traveling is one of them. I want to travel more. I want to do a lot of things, when I'm on the hamster wheel of Coyote. Everyone knows I'm not a one-man show, but I'm pretty close to it.
Sure.
I have a wonderful board of directors and I have a lot of help, but it is sort of me all the time.
Yeah.
So all of that in sitting in my apartment in the middle of a lockdown, I just started thinking, as you know, I have a relationship, let's call it a long distance relationship, because he lives in Belgium. And I have, over the past 4 years of that going on, I have had to sort of plan around when we could, because, when you're in the middle of season, there's no break. And then we moved from the Annenberg, the last year that we produced, I was going to go to Belgium. And then we decided to leave the Annenberg and go to the Cultural Center,
Right.
which was not set up as a theater yet. And so I spent the summer sort of overseeing or helping plan what that space was going to look like. So we had a home come fall. And then, so Yuri and I pushed our plans to meet up again to May of that year. And then COVID hit. And so in the middle of all the lockdown, I'm like, I keep pushing my own personal needs down the road to keep Coyote rising and doing what it was doing. So it was, I felt like it was just the right time and the right decision to allow myself to do something different, or, do the same thing I'm doing, but do it somewhere different, that perhaps the entire thing is not resting on my shoulders. So that is,
So
if that clarifies anything.
well, yeah, but it's like you said. I mean, you were it mostly. You have your staff and the people who are supporting you and working for you, and sharing in that wonderfulness of Coyote. It's all of you together doing these things, getting awards and doing all these wonderful things, and the public gets to enjoy the fruits of all of your labors. And so now, we're looking at you and we're saying, Chuck, you are taking this wonderful little piece of your life now and kind of just closing that one off. And now you're ready to move on to another. But when you do something like that, it's a little jarring to the community. And I'm sure the people that you were working with, were they on board with this with you? Was this a discussion you had with them, or did you say, hey, this is my decision and this is what I'm doing? Well,
of course, the board had to decide whether or not to continue without me. So that was,
okay.
But, that was a big consideration. But again, I have had more time to wrap my head around this and adjust to the decision. So I'm actually in a really good place about it. And the board supported me 100% in the decision. So I know that I've had a lot more time to deal with this. And then it was kind of sprung on the public on Monday.
Yeah.
So I understand sort of the shock and where people are coming from, but everyone, I haven't had any sort of rude responses to what has happened. I had conversations with most of my major donors beforehand, because they've been with me for a long time, and I had let them know what was coming, and everybody understood. Everybody understood. So that was that.
And like, myself, my first thing was to reach out to you and send a quick message. I'm sure you got hundreds, if not thousands. I mean,
the phone exploded.
Yeah, it had to have. And that's why I thought, oh, you know what? I just want to talk to this guy. But I really wanted to give you, because I didn't know, I couldn't tell by reading it, really, what the circumstances were that you came to this decision, and whatever it was, I just knew that it was a loss. For whatever happened, this was going to be a loss. And it's these things happen. And haven't we all learned that through this pandemic that we've all changed. We've all done a little something different in our lives.
Needs have changed. And I have said that numerous times. I mean, the times are different and needs have changed. And Keith, also just in adding into this decision, there were things such as the requirements that Actors Equity that they're making to come back on board, and those add to the cost of producing. We already have fairly large budgets for what we do. What was the other thing I was going to say? The community we live in, this wonderful community is filled with sort of an aging population, which is you and me, but also older than us. And I can't quite get a read on when people are going to want to come fill a theater to the capacity that we need to support, our bottom line. And, our organization is still a very small organization. It's still a very sort of mom and pop kind of thing. So if we do a show that does not meet the bottom line, then we start scrambling, for the next show. And that's a very hard hamster wheel to be on for 13 years. And so when you're looking at not knowing when it's going to truly be safe enough for people to feel comfortable to come back to a theater, that's a big factor. And then even down to, Keith, what I don't know if you've seen, but the price of lumber has gone through the roof in terms of building sets and those kinds of things that we need. The price of lumber has gone through the roof. So I'm just looking at all of these rising costs at a time when I don't know when people are actually going to be ready to come back. And so that was a big part of the conversation.
You would think, even myself as a patron of the arts too, I'm dying to get back into these things, but I'm a little cautious about it too.
Me too.
I really am cautious about it, to actually be performing again, whether it be like with the chorus or the band that I'm in. It's getting together again in those. I know it will happen, but there's still an uncomfortableness about it that everybody is.
There is. And, with hope, that's all going to rectify itself. I think more and more vaccinations, and things are changing for the better. We don't know, personally, I don't know. Bottom line is this: there is a certain amount of waiting time I'm willing to do. And it just felt like this is the time to just stop. I get bored.
Yeah, yeah. Well, we've had nothing to do.
We've had nothing to do, but I get bored. And then again, let's say we come back in October or November with, we had a show ready to go. It would have to be re-rehearsed after all this time, and then nobody comes. And then, I'm scrambling to raise the money for the next show or the next show. And, I've done it. I've done it.
Well, you certainly, this chapter of your life has been wonderful, I think, and I'm so grateful that I've been a part of it to see some of the things that you've done. It's, you brought such a level of theater to Palm Springs that was wonderful. I looked forward to every show. You knew you were going to get a great production. Maybe it's a show that you did or didn't like, but I mean, you were still presented with a well-rehearsed, beautifully dressed set. I've always, and I've sat in that theater where there was only a handful of people too in the Edinburgh to see some shows, and I kept thinking, why aren't people here? And I think that's, well, anyone who does what we do, and you don't know what it is that makes people want to come sometimes, and you definitely offered the variety. I thought you had a variety, and your actors and all that stuff.
Well, listen, when we started the company, I had just moved out here. I didn't even really know what was going on in the theater scene at all. But I started the company, with some friends, we started the company, and the goal was to pay people. The goal was to do interesting work that we might not get to do outside of here when other people are calling the shots.
Right.
And to pay people. And in that, we did that. I mean, everybody involved with Coyote was paid and paid a salary. And that was very important to me. And because I have a lot of friends that are in Actors Equity or in SSDC, which is the Director and Choreographers Guild, that need to work to make their weeks to get their health insurance. And they're very talented friends. And then we added to that as we went along, friends of friends. And then we held auditions and we pulled people in and whatever. We grew very fast.
Yeah.
But that was important. But that adds to the bottom line. And I think there was some confusion, or there was some, people had mentioned certain things to me about our ticket prices, which, we were paying for the Annenberg, and that adds to things, that adds to the budget. But, when everyone's getting paid and not a gas stipend or, something like that, which, listen, that's not, throwing dispersions on anyone else, but that was part of my mission was, you pay people want to come out here and work, and you get some really wonderful people, and and so there was not a conscious effort to raise the bar, as you said, or as other people have said to me the same thing. That was not like my agenda. My agenda was, my competition was myself. I wanted to, whatever came, I wanted it to be better than what we just did.
Sure.
And that was the way I viewed it. And that's why I look at the other theater companies and we're friends, because that's not my concern what you're doing. I want to come and see, I want to come be entertained, right, and not know what I'm seeing, or to come enjoy other people's work. So My competition, I felt, was always Coyote's competition. And I think that's a healthy way to view it.
Yeah, there were because I'm part of it with the other groups. Uh, I've always felt that there wasn't a rivalry so much as a really community, and every group was supporting themselves. But I have to say that with the groups that I've worked with too, I mean, they looked at Coyote as like a benchmark just because it just was run. It's run well. I just always thought everything was great, but we always wanted to hear about when we were all going through COVID, and both of our shows were on the same schedule, and they both got closed the same night. And
Yep.
we were like, well, what is Chuck doing? What are they doing? We should see, and really just kind of make sure we're all on the same page. And it was a respect. It's a respect. I mean, Coyote was always well respected, and as you said, Coyote is Chuck, and Chuck was Coyote. We respected you. I still do. And it's a shame that that part is over for our city and also for you. But it's time, like you said, it's time for you to go on and do something new and different, maybe an extension, whatever that's going to be. Do you plan on staying in the area personally?
I don't know.
Hmm. Well,
Listen, when I left television, I used to write for television. I wrote for Dharma and Greg and Caroline the City, and had sold pilots that made it to various stages of development. When that all changed, and that changed because reality TV came into the picture. That was much cheaper to produce, and sitcoms sort of took a nosedive around that time, and it was very hard to get meetings or get things on the air. And I had friends who were way higher up the ladder than I was, and I was helping them on pilots that they had sold, and things weren't getting on the air. And I realized times had changed. And so it was like, what's next? And so I came out here with my former husband, and we moved to Palm Springs to, relax a little bit. And then we decided to live here full time. And I said, okay, if this is where we're going to live, I'm going to have an artistic outlet. And that's how Coyote Stageworks was born. But my point in this is that I feel like I felt when I decided to walk away from television, and that is, I don't know exactly what's going to happen next, but it feels right in my gut. And sometimes you have to let go of one thing to welcome another.
Yeah. Well, so this is like a reawakening for you. It's a new page. It's not like the final chapter in your
God,
talent.
I hope it's not the final chapter.
Well, no, but I meant like, but when you have something as good as this, and you're lucky because you're putting it away in a box, nice and pretty, and things were and are great with it, and it's a nice memory. I think there's a sadness in the town. It's a sadness in my life, but I'm going to get over it. But I just think that it's an important to realize that things are changing everywhere. Like I said, the way we work today, companies are doing things differently. People are entertainment now. Now, what's your opinion about Broadway and all that stuff that's going to start reopening? What's your take on all that? Do you think that? I mean, I think that they're going to gouge prices like crazy right now. I'm thinking.
Well, they do that on Broadway anyway. Gosh, it wasn't that long ago, Keith, that I could go to New York for a week and see something every night and 2 shows on 2 show days, and that's not that long ago that I could do that. I can't do that anymore. And that's what's really sad to me, is that that part of it has grown to, I just talked about our ticket prices. Yeah. And the justification is, what it was. The Broadway thing is like, I don't even know how to answer it, but it is unbelievable that you can spend a couple of $1,000s or more on one orchestra seat. And that doesn't count going to dinner or hiring babysitters or
Staying at a hotel where you're at. Yeah, I mean,
staying in a hotel or anything like that. So I don't know, somebody's doing it. Somebody's paying those prices. I was hoping that coming out of the pandemic lockdown, that there might be some revisitation of that. But apparently I don't think that's the case.
I just, like you said, it just was always a great trip. We would go in on, the days that you can get two shows in, twice and see something every day. And I don't know that we can actually do that for a longer period of time, maybe just a weekend. And even then it's a very, very hefty thing to do. And we just love theater so much that it makes me a little sad. I saw some stuff and I was like, these must be
Scalpers.
Yeah, they're scalping the price. Yeah, $1,400 for a seat to see a show. I'm just like,
I know.
I just don't even know. But are some people paying it? Maybe they are. They must be. Bless their hearts. But I enjoy. We usually go out to LA and get a season out there. Usually Amundsen, and we just haven't done it yet. But we're starting to think about getting.
Well, I think everybody's starting to think about the possibilities of what should we do, and there is sort of a wait and see attitude as to are the vaccines going to work against the variants, or when do we have to be revaccinated?
Yeah.
When and then we're gauging as you just said, we're gauging our own comfort levels as to when I just want to do it. But in terms of the Broadway thing, I mean, we have so many wonderful regional theaters just across the country, but in California that are available to us, in San Diego, La Jolla, the Old Globe in San Diego, there's La Jolla, the Geffen in Los Angeles, the Music Center, which has, 3 different theaters, the Amundsen, the Taper, and the Kirk Douglas. There's the Pasadena Playhouse. There's the Laguna Playhouse in Laguna, which is a lovely little space my friend Annie Wareham's the artistic director of. They've actually bought a couple of shows from us in the past. They did our production of Buyer and Seller and Dirty Blonde. So there are options. Everyone feels like they need to go to New York, and trust me, I lived in New York. I love Broadway. I love doing all that. But there is great theater happening in your backyard. And some people don't take advantage of that opportunity.
Yeah, I agree. And I think they should. I mean, because not everyone can afford to go and do all those things. And it's still good theater. I mean, it's still a great production, just because it's on Broadway and that kind of stuff. You get a lot of bells and whistles with it, if that's what you're looking for. I look for a great play. I'd rather go see something off Broadway too that's removed and just kind of like, oh, is this something new and different? And because I'm entertained by that too.
I'm entertained by so many things, Keith, so many different types of things that if you just limit yourself right now at this period of time on Broadway, if you just limit yourself to going to Broadway, you're getting just the big ticket, bells and whistles kinds of shows. But I miss the days when you could go see Jessica Tandy and Hume Cronin do a 2-person play and be blown away.
Yeah.
I miss those days.
Well, I hope we can get to something like that again. What have you thought about the filming and showing of these Broadway shows now on TV? I mean, you can order it or you can watch it. What is your thought on that? Do you enjoy those? Did you see like Hamilton or anything?
I have not seen Hamilton yet. I have not seen Hamilton yet, and I was going to see Hamilton. There was a brief but shining moment when the Cultural Center was first starting the drive-ins.
Right.
And they thought they had the rights to show Hamilton. And I was like, I'm going to go see Hamilton there and see it on the big drive-in screen.
Yeah.
But I have David Yaus, my friend David Yaus.
Love it.
David House is a huge fan of Hamilton. And so I have seen so many YouTube clips and different, I haven't seen it all the way through, but he has shown me so much about it. I might as well say I have seen it,
Yeah.
but I love it when, do you remember the old American Playhouse on PBS?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
When they would film these plays and show, I
Yeah.
love that. It's not the same as seeing it in person, but I used to love that, and that's a lot of what is happening right now. I had HD Broadway HD. Do you know that streaming service?
I didn't watch it though. I didn't have it. We didn't buy it. What's on there? Is it?
There's all kinds of stuff on there, and you can get a what do you call it, a preview period. What do you call that? Yeah, and you can check it out. But one of the things that I saw on there, which was before it aired on PBS, was Holland Taylor in Anne.
Yeah.
About Ann Richards.
Oh,
which was delicious.
I would love to have seen that.
It was delicious because I couldn't go to New York when she did it in New York. But Holland Taylor to me is just the cat's drama.
That's just
and Ann Richards, if you remember Ann Richards, she was, just says what she wants to say.
I bet that was fantastic, actually.
It was fantastic. So I enjoy those things.
And I don't think they're gouging people to be able to watch stuff like that. I think it's great that these plays can be seen by so many people, and it doesn't cost a ton of money to go to actually see Hamilton was a fortune. And I think that's what kept us away from it, just because it's like, do I have a problem with that? I do. So part of me just says, no, I can't support that, but I want to see it, so, and then, so I've liked the fact that, that they do these things, but there's nothing like live theater. I mean, you and I, everybody knows there's nothing.
As long as I would say I would say to anyone in the public, if you're watching these and you enjoy them, that's wonderful, but it does not replace live theater. So when you can, whether it is on Broadway or at your local community theater, go experience something live, because there's nothing like it. I'm sorry, there's nothing like it.
And I know that feeling. I think a lot of people who are listening to us too really get that. And I think a lot of people are starving for some, local entertainment again. And Palm Springs has a lot to offer. Some is, more some people's taste than others, but there is a variety out there here in Palm Springs, and Coyote will be missed.
Well, thank you. And you're right. It's like, but that's the great thing about our theater community here in the desert is that there are many different groups. If you've ever been to the DTL Awards, the Desert Theater League Awards, oh my God, the category after category, and there's so many different groups, and some of them are professional and some of them are on the community level, community theater level, and they're all, who cares?
Yeah, no,
who cares?
Having moved from Chicago here, I kind of thought that all of the talented people in the world were here now, and they're like wanting to play. And, and I find that in some areas, yes. And then some I'm shocked that it's not better because of the people who have moved here. But it's the way things are sometimes run. And, we run into that situation a lot in doing theater, the locations, the audiences, the availability and stuff. Now, so you've just given up a space then, am I correct? That cultural center space?
Yes, for a brief but shining moment, there was the Camelot.
Theater three.
I mean, that's actually, to be honest with you, one of the more sad aspects of this to me is that I had wasted, not wasted. I had spent, watch what you say. I had spent so much time dealing with the museum and the Annenberg. I spent 8 of 13 years dealing with them. And then we had made the decision to go to the Cultural Center, the former Camelot Theater. And we had been doing our Barbara Keller Playdates reader series there for a couple of years.
Oh, yeah.
And they had kind of told us some ideas that they had about turning Theater 3 into a performance space. And anyway, I had a talk with my board and I said, I think we should go now. I think we should help them, like, create something that can be adapted later into their bigger vision. But we can go there now, and we can, because they're so nice. They're so great. They were so great to us and so welcoming, which was so refreshing. So that was a big move. But we were, for the first time in all of the time that we had been in existence, it was the first time that we moved in. We had adapted the space, and then John Monahan and Ann Sheffer and the Western Wind Foundation had come and done even more than what we had originally planned. And it was going to work. And we did A Doll's House Part 2, which was our first production there. And we,
beautiful,
like I said,
beautiful. If you hadn't
thank you. And we had our next show planned, which is the one that I told you we shut down on the day before opening. But for the first time in Coyote's existence, we already had our dates approved for this past season. That didn't happen. We had 3 plays, and we had the play dates set monthly, all the dates. The Cultural Center, like, we gave them the dates. We had to change a couple due to scheduling, but they approved everything in a matter of, I want to say, like 2 days.
Wow.
Whereas it took months before. And so we were already, during the run of A Doll's House Part 2, we were already doing a short list of what the season was going to look like this past season that didn't happen. So that was a collaboration between Coyote and the Cultural Center that I thought was most promising and gave me a lot of hope and happiness as to what the next chapter of Coyote was going to look like. So I'm actually very sad that I can't continue that collaboration with them, because Michael Green and Pappy Smith,
love that. Love them.
Yeah, Eric Smith, nicknamed Pappy, but they were so great to work with. Yes. What was your original question?
Oh, I said it's kind of opened up a new space.
Yes.
So I would assume that the Cultural Center is going to continue something there along those lines. And
I hope so. And there's still a movie screen that they put in that comes down.
Well, I've been over in Theater 3 several times since they started to reopen. And I can still see your set, and the
oh yeah
spots at the backstage, and
when we shut down the Velocity of Autumn the day before it opened, that set sat on the stage, and that was a beautiful set too. Oh my gosh, that was Tom Valek. That was a beautiful set. That set sat on the stage until, I want to say, like April 3rd, like over a year.
Yeah.
So I will say, I think we've had the longest running set in Palm Springs. Maybe not the longest running show, but I think we've definitely had the longest running set in Palm Springs.
How many people saw it though?
Oh, not many, but
just a handful. I would love to have seen it. I would love to. Hey, hey. So tell me, as I kind of wind down here a little bit, what have been some of your proudest moments with Coyote? What's been the things that really stick out? Something that you're so proud of?
Oh my gosh, there's so many. Well, I think first I have to say that I'm very proud that these scrappy little people moved to Palm Springs and started this little theater company at the old Thorny Theater. We did one show there. We rented in their off time, and this little theater company sort of exploded. I mean, we went from the Thorny Theater, which was 44 seats. And then the next year we went to the Women's Club, which at that time we were seating, I think, 100 or 120 seats in there. That was year 2, and we did 2 plays. And then our third year, we moved to the Annenberg, which was 433 seats.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of growth in 3 years. And that was, I mean, that's just the way it happened. That wasn't a plan. That was just the way it happened. And
but any of those productions back then were very special to you, or that really stood out?
where they're all special except for maybe 2. But that's another story.
Oh.
You know what? I'll say this. One of my proudest moments personally, which is just personally, was I had carried the script around for True, because I had seen it opening night on Broadway with Robert Morse. And I carried that script around for 24 years until I had the right moment and I was old enough to play Truman Capote. So that's always going to be sort of a high watermark for me. But I can look at all of the posters on my wall, and each one of them, so many memories. I mean, working with my friends, Larry Rabin and David Engel in art, the 3 of us were, you know, the co-founders of the company.
Right.
3 of the co-founders of the company, and to be on stage with them, or with Alan Denny in the tunas, the different tunas that we did, and directing my friend David Yaus in the understudy,
Beautiful.
which I thought was like a really wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you. That that production is really special to me, and so. But they're all really special. You know, there's something about all of them. Like I said, maybe there's 2 that I don't want to talk about, but I'm the person who had to spend the most time with a production, from picking it to casting it to seeing it through to closing. And so I always thought I damn well sure better love this play, because I'm going to be the one, spending the most time on it. So that was the way I viewed it.
Well, it's hard to answer that question. I say that, you could never pick like who
you tell me, what are some of your favorites
that I've seen of yours? Oh, oh my God. See, now that's hard too, but Dirty Blonde was amazing.
Dirty Blonde, yes.
I really thought that the Agnes of God you guys did was probably one of the best things I've ever seen in theater. Just
thank you.
And people say, it's an easy play to do, or whatever, but all of your actresses there were just, I was glued, and I was so mad that I was only sitting amongst 20, 30 people only. And I thought everybody in the whole town should have run there to see that, because
we knew that was going to be a hard sell going into it. But sometimes you have to do things because you really want to do them. And it's interesting. You said it's an easy play to do. Au contraire. You got to have the right 3 dames up there who can deliver. And I loved what we did with it, because we had a multiracial cast. And so having an African-American Agnes, it even added a little bit more, a few more surprises in the context of the script. We didn't change anything in the script.
Right.
But it added some extra mystery to it, which, Britt Adams was, oh my God, Britt Adams was amazing. She blew us away in the audition. And I was like, we got to do that. She's got to come to the desert.
Yeah. It was wonderful. The Ann Landers one was also, I thought.
Oh, thank you. That's a sweet little play.
I thought it was done well. And
Gloria Loring, such a dear.
Yeah. And then we saw Loretta Swit in something as well. She was amazing. And I'm sorry, the Steel Magnolias was an amazing effort. I'm so sad.
Oh, that turned into a whole different thing.
But what a great opportunity.
Right.
It's very sad for what was going on. It was just who would
Well,
have.
just so your audience knows,
Yeah.
Florence Henderson was supposed to be in that, and I had known Florence for a long time, and she had to pull out we had advertised it and everything, and she had to pull out a few days before the actual fundraising event, and then she ended up dying 2 days before we actually did it. So it turned into, well, actually, to be honest, it kind of turned into the first memorial service for Florence Henderson, first public memorial service for Florence Henderson.
Absolutely.
And my friend Kathy Rigby stepped in at the last minute and played the role. And
she was great. She actually was great in the role. She did a very nice job.
And I owe her my first child. I think I'm past the childbearing years, but I owe Kathy my first child because she stepped in a couple of days before, committed to it, and came out and did that and saved our butts.
It was a dynamic cast, and you only did the one show, right? It was just that one night, right?
Yes, that was our annual fundraiser, which we did staged readings of classic plays, and we had Carol Cook and Sally Struthers and Mo Gaffney and Kathy Rigby. Yo Younger was in that, and Elaine Hayhurst. I think that's everybody. Don Amendolia directed it. Yeah,
they were fantastic, and it really still stands out as one of those nights in theater that you get to see some celebrities doing something that I'm familiar with, and the chance to see them all working together. And you're a lucky guy. You're a real lucky guy. You got good friends. I tell you,
it helps a lot.
I believe you. Now, so tell me right now, what's going on with the boyfriends?
The boyfriend. Okay, so COVID just can I curse on this? Is this?
Go ahead. I don't care.
Yeah, this is there's no standards and practices going to come knock on my door. COVID fucked up a lot of shit. And that's one of them. But yes, so September, we're coming up on 4 years. I have sort of a very unorthodox relationship going. It is a long distance relationship, and which we have been working on rectifying. We were supposed to meet last May, and COVID, there's no travel. He lives in Belgium. And so he has been here several times, and we know what each other look like and all that.
That's kind good. Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. No, this is not like mail order bride time. But
where did you meet?
We met here in Palm Springs.
So he was here.
And he was here visiting, and then he's been back to. Well, he was here, and I met him, and we spent time then. And then he's been back, and and stayed with me and stuff. But we, a lot of this kind of thing, video chatting and FaceTiming, and we talk all the time. And we were supposed to meet up last May, and so now with vaccines and stuff, I'm vaccinated. We're waiting for him to be vaccinated. He's at the EU, he's in Belgium. They're really slow. They're really behind schedule on their vaccine rollout. But, and plus he just turned 35. So he's not really in, an age bracket that has been addressed yet. And so, no, we finally found out last week that he's able to get his first shot. I think he's getting it June 22nd. And then he will have his second shot in July at some point. And so we're hoping to see each other in either August or September. Or
there, or is he going to come here?
Hopefully he's going to come here. He wants to come here. And so we're hoping August, September, sometime around there.
I want to see pictures. Okay.
Hold on. Let me see. Let's see if we.
And of the two of you together is what I'm saying, but I want to see him right here. Go ahead.
Okay, keep talking.
I'll keep talking forever. You know me, but I think it's so great that you've been able to maintain this relationship with this young, handsome man who is younger than both of us, apparently. So
put together almost.
Yeah. He could be my. Look at that. Now, honey, I hang on to that, okay? Just hang on to that.
Well, that's the plan.
Hey, I'd close my theater group too if I had one. He's adorable. Uh, oh, come on now. Handsome, my friend.
Okay. All right.
Congrats. Well, I want to thank you so much for taking time with me and chatting. You are always one of my favorite people to talk to, and I know that I said, this is a sad thing. I think it's a really great thing. You're going out on top. You're well respected, and whatever happens in the future, I kind of, you said you carried around True in your pocket for many years, and it landed when it should. I'm sure there's other things in your back pocket somewhere that's going to land somewhere, and hopefully I'm going to be around to see some of that wonderfulness that you're going to be able to share. So,
well, stay tuned. Let's see. We'll see.
I ain't going anywhere. So, but know that I love you and I love all the work that you have done for them. And we will continue talking about things all the time because you do such interesting things. And I just, sit and I look through the window and look at all my friends having so much fun. I'm waiting to get out there and have some fun too.
Well, I think it's coming. I think it's coming.
Yeah.
And as somebody said to me a couple of days ago, one door closes and people start knocking.
Yep. And I said, there's so many different doors now. The way the world has changed, we don't know what that second door might be very nice. And
yeah, well, because sometimes you have to release something to accept what's coming in your direction.
And I think
so
the things I think the things that for us that are comfortable, sometimes it's always hard to find time to let it go. But then something like this pandemic happens and it makes it easier in a way because it's like, yeah, it's time. It's time. I've had it, like you said, you had time to self-reflect. You were home, you kind of went through your list of what was most important. And
I think, Keith, I know you're trying to wrap up, but I do want to say this. I think, and I'll speak for myself, the surest path to unhappiness is to resist change. And I'm speaking for myself. And I think resisting change, a lot of that is fear of the unknown and what could be down the road. And I don't subscribe to that. I want to, not just walk away from things willy-nilly, but when I think a chapter is closed or has had like a really wonderful end, then move on when you need to and accept what may be ahead of you. So that's, yeah.
Well, it's nice. It's nice that you're able to then look back on this portion that just recently closed, and it's been all a positive thing. It's just a positive thing. And I thank you again for sharing it with the people of Palm Springs and your friends. I mean, I'm so happy to call myself a friend of yours because you
are a friend of mine. So is Mark.
Well, that's nice too. I'll let him know. He's probably watching, but he puts it all together. So no, but we really, and just there's a lot of respect and love for you from this town too. So I want to thank everybody for listening today and getting to know Chuck a little bit better and his boyfriend. And boy, I want to have who knows? I mean, wait till our next chat. That'll be fun. But thanks again, sweetie, and we will talk soon. Okay.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
Cheers.